Hey, ladies, welcome to Black Women Making Money. We are the home of the upwardly mobile Black woman. Glad to have everybody here today. So, welcome to Black Women Making Money. We are the home of the upwardly mobile Black woman. For exclusive content and invitations to our Inner Circle Zoom meetings, which happen on a monthly basis, you can sign up for free for our email newsletter at bwmakingmoney.com. That's bwmakingmoney.com. Hey, ladies, hit the like button for you, girl. Hit the like button. Welcome to Black Women Making Money. We are the home of the upwardly mobile Black woman. We are back for Money Monday. A few things to talk about today. There's just been so much happening that I was trying to figure out what would be the best things for us to talk about with regards to moving you forward. Put a 1 in the chat. Make sure everybody can hear me. Put a 1 in the chat. All right, let me actually tell you something personal that I did because I actually live what I talk about. I walk my talk. And we had been talking about different things that we're able to do in order to supplement our income. And I told everybody, I made a promise to myself that I was going to sign up for my notary class. Well, the notary class, I almost forgot because the notary class is coming up this Saturday. Thank God they had spaces available. Your girl pulled out her coins today, pulled out her card today, went to the community college and actually signed up on the community college website to take my notary classes. And the reason why I thought about it, honestly, most of you know I'm a loan officer by trade. And I had to get something notarized for our business. And I was talking with the guy who was notarizing my stuff. And I was like, how'd you get this job, by the way? And he rattled off, I did this, and I did this. And then I got the job. And I was like, oh, okay. And I mean, it's not like a job. It's like, you can basically sign on and do virtual notarizations and make money and things like that. I'm like, well, shoot, sign me up. So, like I tell you all the time, it is a matter of us figuring out the couple of things that we want to do and monkey branching with regards to making money, paying off debt, getting in a better financial space. The K-shaped economy is getting even wider. We're going to talk about that today. And yeah, so I'm like, hey, you know what? Your girl's going to sign up for her notary classes. I'm probably going to reach out to Notary World behind the scenes and say, okay, coach me on how to do this again and do this again. And yeah, your girl's going to spend her coins in order to get her notary. And I want to do virtual notaries. And one guy that I spoke with, this was maybe about 6 months ago. I have to every once in a while, probably like once every couple of months, get something notarized for my company, and I do these online notaries through FedEx. And I was like, by the way, how much money do you make? And he was like, yeah, I make about $300 a day. I was like, sign me up to sit in my house and be able to make $300 a day doing virtual notaries. Like, yeah, sign me up. So I see we got people watching here, but nobody's talking yet. Don't forget to hit the like button. Put something in the chat, even if it's a one, if it's a UMBW, put that in the chat. Just make sure that I am coming through loud and clear for all of my UMBWs out there. So, hey, baby girl T. Hey, ladies. Thank you so much for commenting on there. I just wanted to make sure that I'm coming through loud and clear. Sydney is in the building as well, saying one. Perfect, perfect. The other announcement that I have for you ladies is that our monthly Zoom meetings are coming back. The next one we're going to have is October 26th, which is a Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern. If you are not on our email list, bwmakingmoney.com is how you get on the email list. So that way you could get an invitation. I have a couple of things I'm thinking about talking about. They're probably going to be things either that we can't or don't discuss on YouTube, or I want to play an extended TV scene from a very famous show and talk about some of the issues that I see with it in 2025. So we're going to figure out what we're going to talk about based on that. But we are going to have our discussion again on Zoom. The monthly Zooms are coming back. The next one is going to be on October 26th, 5 p.m. That's a Sunday. So, hey, Dusty Slayer, good to see you. And Demir is in the building. Congrats on the class sign up and yay for the Zoom meetings. Yes, girl. Yes, we are coming back in full effect. I also had a conversation with my boss today. Y'all know I am the leader of our mortgage company, and my boss owns a bunch of different companies, but I'm the leader of the mortgage division. And I'm like, okay, these are our 2026 goals. This is what we're thinking of doing. These are our plans. Give me your feedback. He gave me some really great feedback. I want to know from all of you, have you started putting together your 2026 plans yet? Have you started putting your 2026 plans together yet? I spent time when I went on vacation with a gentleman who grew a very, very, very successful business. When I say very successful, I mean very successful. And I was telling him that, I had started kind of tinkering with our goals for 2026. And he said, yeah, companies have already decided. This was at the end of September. He said they've already decided what their 2026 goals are. And a lot of companies, a lot of people are taking Q4 to either wrap up their goals for 2025, meaning that if you said you're going to do something at the beginning of the year and you haven't quite hit that goal yet, they're using it in order to finish strong, and they're using Q4 in order to lay the groundwork for 2026. So I want to encourage all of you. You are a business. A Baby Girl T is a business. She is Baby Girl T Inc., right? Baby Girl T Incorporated, right? So within her business, what is she looking to do with regards to skills and networks, right? Financial literacy, vacations, fun, things like that. And I would encourage all of you to, the Baby Girl Tea is starting December 1st, which is fine. But some of you may even need to and want to start earlier. Like, for example, for me, my notary class that I'm taking is going to spin out into, okay, what are the things that I need to do? What do I need to have in order to be eligible, hopefully by January 1st, to start doing virtual notaries, right? So that way, as mortgages go up and down, I can have, really, it's going to be my third stream of income. I have a second stream of income. I have one bookkeeping client that I have had for many years. I'm keeping them. And then I'm going to be doing these virtual notaries as well. So we need multiple streams of income. One of the things you want to do though is find like one major thing that's going to be your bread and butter, the thing that you're doing in order to bring in the super majority of your money. And then if you have a side business, because we don't have side hustles over here as UMBWs, we have side businesses. If you have a side business over here, how is that side business going to run in order to help you save more money, in order to help you pay off debt, in order to help you get the down payment for purchasing a home? Making it a thing that you're going to have uh, access to, those funds you have access to in order to be able to hit some major goals. So, yes, yes, that is that are some of the announcements for today. I have a bunch of stories that I'm going to show you with regards to money and the economy. First one I want to show you, when I first saw this on Fox News, I was like, I don't believe this. I'm sorry to my Mississippians, but I was like, I don't know. However, I saw quite a few outlets, like I went and Googled it, quite a few outlets actually talking about the fact that Mississippi is in the top 20 with regard to education now and literacy. They were tired of being at the bottom of every education list. And about 15 years ago, they started doing things in order to become better at literacy. And this is one of the reports that came out. There are several if you Google it. So shout out to everybody who lives in Mississippi. Um, Now, what they said they did was they focused less on woke um, and focused more on literacy. What I take from that is that there does need to be more of a focus on the old school techniques that worked with regards to helping our kids read and write and think strategically. Because we're going to be talking tonight about the fact that the K-shaped economy basically means the rich and the poor is getting wider and wider. And a lot of schools today are not preparing your children for success. If you're a younger person, a lot of schools did not prepare you for true success. And being a UMBW, when you walk through the door, a lot of us, even more than 20 years ago, a lot of people do not believe that you will have the skills to survive in a post AI world. Okay. And a post AI world is, what are the things that you're actually bringing to the table that's going to actually move the needle for the company? Can you think strategically? Can you read and write? A read for comprehension. Can you write and put prompts into ChatGPT? And when ChatGPT spits out slop, they call it work slop. We're going to have a conversation about that in the next couple of weeks. When ChatGPT spits out work slop for you, can you recognize that and can you change course, right? Because a lot of people are not able to do that. And that's just not just young people, that's people my age as well. So, shout out again to Mississippi. Mississippi fourth graders lead America in educational progress. And like I said, there were quite a few articles with regards to the fact that now they are in the top 20 with regards to education. And because they are part of the top 20 with regard to education, they are probably going to put themselves in a position to attract those companies that need more senior level professionals. But they can have the cost of being in Mississippi, meaning that the housing prices are lower and things like that. So they'll be able to attract maybe some tech companies or some other companies because their literacy rates are much better. So again, shout out to Mississippi. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the haves and the have-nots because y'all know we are always talking about the haves and the have-nots. This is from CNBC, came out earlier, I think earlier today. This is came out 12 days ago. But we're still going to watch it because this is actually corresponding to everything else that I am hearing within the economy. So let's play this. Now, CNBC, Fox Business, they're all saying the quiet parts out loud. Last week, I played something for you from Fox Business where the guy was like, Americans think they have a right to health care, to housing, and to education, and they don't. I don't know if y'all remember the guy said that. Oh, no, he said health care, um, jobs, and housing. That's what he said. Americans think they have the right to health care, jobs, and education, and they don't. These individuals on these business shows are letting you know right now what is happening. And what I want you to do is just be prepared. So, this section is called The Wealthy Are Spending More and Everyone Else Is Not. The wealthy are spending more and everyone else is not. Let's hear what this guy, David Steinberg, has to say with regards to this.
Maybe brand this as David's Zeta Data. What do you think?
I don't know. My wife and kids might like it, but as you've said,
I'm sorry, that was super fast. Let's put it back to normal speak. We're going to come back here.
What do you think?
I don't know. My wife and kids might like it, but as you've said, in the current environment, getting access to data is getting harder. And what we're seeing is more and more people looking at private indices like the Zeta Economic Index.
Yeah, because and now there's all this also, it's not just that government data may not happen, David, it's that people are arguing over the veracity. Well, they don't measure this and they don't measure that enough.
Right.
And so everybody's doing everything. When I'm looking at a company like Zeta Global and thinking, well, they have so many data points that, respectfully to the federal government and all the great people that work there, I'd rather go to you. So what are you seeing and your team seeing from the American economy?
Yeah, well, as you know, we're looking, Brian, at 242 million Americans across trillions of signals. It's a tale of two cities. The wealthy are spending more and everybody else is not. And as a part of that, you're seeing discretionary spending dropping dramatically, but you're seeing essential spending going up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was muted. Sorry, ladies. Thank you, Sydney. Thank you, AP. Thank you, Sabrina. Okay, let me actually start all over again. So, what I was saying is that this makes sense, right? This makes sense what he said with regards to the discretionary income and people not spending as much money on discretionary goods because they are spending more of their money on essentials. So, if you have a poor person, if you have a person who has moderate income, they are not spending as much on discretionary things. We're gonna watch more of this because he's gonna say later on that the people who have money are cool, they're fine. The people who don't have money are struggling, and the people who have to finance stuff are thinking 3 and 4 times before financing stuff. Now, I would question some of his data because the buy now, pay later stuff is getting into the trillions. And I see here Alonzo here saying salute. So Alonzo knows about this as well. Definitely that the buy now, pay later train ran and ran and ran for about 3 or 4 years. Now, what's happening is buy now, pay later is starting to report to credit reports. So, credit and the buy now, pay later people are probably the first ones to know what's really, really happening in the economy, right? Because if you don't have moderate income people and poorer people doing discretionary things with their money, then um, the economy is going to slow down. But this guy is going to say something else as well. He's going to say that GDP is going to rise still 2% for the year. What does this have to do with us as UMBWs? Because I know you may be thinking that. Sheree, what does this have to do with us? It means not everybody's broke. It means that there are companies that are still hiring. There aren't a lot of companies that are hiring, but there are still companies that are hiring. That means that there are still companies that are prepping now for 2026 and thinking to themselves, I need to bring on a person, or we need to bring on a person to do XYZ, whether it's for contract or for employee. You may be able to find more people, hiring people on a contract basis, part-time, 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week. You get 2 of those, you got a full-time job, for example. But the numbers that this guy is showing internally from over 200 million people, and he's going to talk about this, is showing that the economy is slower than it has been, but it's not going to be a negative GDP, which means that the overall economy is still going to grow. So my question to you is, how are you putting yourself into the path of money? How are you putting yourself into the path of money? And some of you, like baby girl T, can start her 2026 planning on December 1st. And some of you need to get started now because it's going to take you 3 months, 2.5 months, 10 weeks to lay the foundation that you need with regards to your certifications, your courses that you need to take, starting to network with certain people so that on January 2nd, you're ready to go. January 2nd, you have everything you need in place. You're saying that the video was muted as well on the last play? Okay, so that means that I can't mute myself. All right, thank you so much, AP. Let's then continue listening. And ladies, let me know if you're able to hear the video this time. Thanks.
Which is keeping things pretty flat. I would say the single biggest theme that you're going to see in the new ZEI coming out next week is an aversion to risk. We're seeing people start to get more nervous about risk, even though we're seeing them continue to focus on retail purchasing.
Yeah, and we're looking at your graphic now. Some are up, some are down, and I see automotive down about 4 points. So you heard maybe Kate Moore at the top of the show from Citi Private Wealth saying basically we're going to be looking at discretionary travel. Sounds like you're kind of looking and measuring some of the same stuff. How much are people spending on the stuff they don't need to survive?
Right.
Okay, let's go back and look at his numbers here. Let's go back and look at his numbers here. So automotive is down. Okay, makes sense. Dining is up. I cannot tell you how many people on YouTube, are talking about restaurants are empty right now. I actually saw a video about that a couple of days ago. Restaurants are empty right now. Well, not according to this guy. According to this guy, dining is up 3 points. August 2025, year over year. Now, the reason why the person that I saw talking about restaurants being down was because he was saying food quality is down, which is true, and portion sizes are down, which is true. However, it looks like this guy who has the data points and not just thinking, like looking around and thinking, oh my goodness, nobody's in restaurants, which is not true. It's saying that dining is still up. Dining is still up. So let's see what else we have here. We have financial services is down 3 points. So Alonzo, you and I need to be worried about that, but not too much. We just have to pivot our marketing to people who have money. Healthcare is down 3 points. So people aren't going to the doctor as much and things like that. Retail is up. And I'm going to show you something else showing that retail is up and Christmas money is about to be up, ladies, and travel is down. Travel is down. So what people are doing basically is they are just shifting their money around. They're shifting their money around. That's what we're seeing right now. Let's listen a little bit more to what's happening in the economy and how we're able to take this information and actually move forward with it in our lives.
At the top of the show from Citi Private Wealth saying basically we're going to be looking at discretionary travel. Sounds like you're kind of looking and measuring some of the same stuff. How much are people spending on the stuff they don't need to survive?
Right. And we're seeing that go down. We saw probably the largest drop in propensity to take down credit from July into August, a 22% drop. When people are scared to access credit, that really affects bigger items. It affects discretionary items. Whereas, once again, going into August, and then we're seeing it going into September, a little sneak peek, we're seeing that essential items are being purchased at a greater rate. So that's offsetting it and keeping the economy growing. We saw the Zeta Economic Index go down by 4 points from July into August. You could probably see it go down a little bit more into September, but that still means GDP is growing nicely. So, we believe GDP will grow at or above 2% through the rest of the year. It might not be the 3 or 4% I think everybody would like, but, we could see it eke out high twos, low threes, but it's really being driven today by essential items that people have to buy, that they continue to stock up on. And, Labor Day will have a nice spark into September around a lot of the sales that retailers were doing.
Yeah.
So I think you'll see a little nice step up into September.
This line.
Okay, I wanted to play that for you. So let me tell you something as a mortgage loan officer. And Alonzo is here saying crazy financial services is down. But like you said, we just pivot. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I just closed a loan for a family. They called me and they said, well, they were referred to me by the realtor. They said, we need to move. We are busting out at the seams in this house and we need to move. Now, if you're listening to all of these reports out here that, CNBC, CNN Business, Wall Street Journal, etc., um, are talking about, they would have you thinking, oh, nobody is buying financial services. I can tell you that's not the case. Alonzo can tell you that's not the case. Okay. If you're in these businesses, if you're in these industries, the way that you have to move, the way that you have to pivot may be a little bit different than before, right? But there are absolutely people who are buyers. The other things that I want to tell you is do not get sucked in to all the social media hype about everybody's doing this, nobody's doing that, nobody has money. Money is attracted to skills and networks. Money is attracted to people. Like, if the more people who know you, my boss and I had this conversation. He was like, well, I said, the goal that I had for the company for 2025, we actually hit it, and we hit it in September with regards to there was a group of people that I wanted to not only know us but trust us, and that trust has cemented. And there were a couple of things that happened that let me know that that's cemented. So now we're looking at, okay, how can more people know who we are? How can more people see value in what we're doing as mortgage lenders, as lenders, period, as people who can help them pull together their real estate portfolios, starting with their own primary home and then adding other investments to it. And my boss said something to me, and he's absolutely right. And I'm saying it to you as now. Visibility trumps ability. Visibility trumps ability. The more you are out there, the more that people see you. On a scale of 1 to 10, if AP, if AP is a 10 with skills, but a 6 with her networks, and I'm a 10 with my networks and a 6 with my skills, I will always win. Let me say this again. AP and I are in the same industry. We're going for the same jobs, the same opportunities. Visibility trumps ability. Visibility is more important than ability. Your networks are more important than your skills. You still got to have skills as a UMBW, right? But if AP is a 10 with skills, she is just dynamic at doing whatever it is that she does, but she's only a 6 with visibility. And I am a 10 with visibility and a 6 with skills. I'm going to win every time because I'm out there. So 2026 for us in our business is the year of visibility. That's going to be the theme in our business, the year of visibility. There are about 2,200 realtors. We want as many of those realtors to know who we are and what we're competent in. And those 2,200 realtors know that. Cherie will be doing well, prayerfully, by the end of 2026. I'm doing okay now, but I mean, infinitely better, right? So my question to you is, as we're understanding this K-shaped economy, as this CNBC guy is talking and he's saying, because the name of the video is "The Wealthy Are Spending More and Everyone Else Is Not." There are people out here who are spending money in this economy, whether you're starting your own business, whether you're getting a new job, whether you're monkey branching, whether or not you're getting a spouse this year, whatever it is that you're trying to do. We have to be visible, and we have to be, people have to know who we are and what we're good at, what we're capable of. And thanks, Alonzo. Thanks for saying congratulations. Okay, so let's go then to our next tab here, and we are going to put this up on the screen here for everybody. We have talked about the K-shaped economy. GoFundMe CEO says the economy is so bad that more of his customers are crowdfunding just to pay for groceries. This came out today. I also saw something else. I didn't post it here, but most of you know that the government was shut down, and there was a report, a local news report of our soldiers having to stand in line at the food pantry in order to get food, right? Um, Now, I do not believe that our veterans and our active military people, especially, should be hungry and going to food pantries and wondering if they're going to get paid on the 15th, which apparently Trump has figured that out. But understanding this, there is the tale of two Americas. There's a tale of two economies that's happening right now. It's the haves and the have-nots. And I need my UMBWs to be people who have money, right? So I'm not going to read this to you, but we can understand what's happening here. Also, I wanted to show this. Let's see here.
New analysis from Adobe claims online sales will slow to just 5% growth this holiday season. They blame economic uncertainty. Gerald Storch, the retail guy, joins me now. Look, Gerald, welcome back. Good to see you. Some people say that a slowdown in sales means a slowdown for the overall economy.
Can you all hear that? Can you ladies hear that? It's a little bit lower. I couldn't find it on YouTube. They just had it on their website. So you may have to raise your volume here with regards to this, but I do want you to hear just a little bit of this as well. So.
New analysis from Adobe claims online sales will slow to just 5% growth this holiday season. They blame economic uncertainty. Gerald Storch, the retail guy, joins me now. Look, Gerald, welcome back. Good to see you. Some people say that a slowdown in sales means a slowdown for the overall economy. Are you buying that?
Well, I'm not buying the sales are even going to slow down. You know, people have been saying that all year. The tariffs are going to bring down the economy. As I've told you, the sky's not falling. That's not happening.
Okay, so I know it's a bit low. So thanks, Alonzo, for saying that. Basically, this report here is about the fact that retail sales, online retail sales for Christmas, are expected to increase this year in 2025. People are still going to be spending money for Christmas. What does that mean for you and I? If you have a business, then you want to also be in the path of money. And what is being in the path of money? It is understanding that the people with the data are still expecting individuals to spend more money this Christmas than they did last Christmas. So just understanding that. So then let's talk about this Wendy Osefo. It wasn't a smooth transition, but hey, it is what it is. First of all, I don't watch Real Housewives of Potomac. I don't know who this woman is. I don't know who her husband is. But I'm aware of Real Housewives of Potomac, the show. I just have never seen her. I watched one episode in the first season, and she wasn't on the first season because I don't remember her. UMBWs right now are we have a spotlight on us where there are some negative stories that have been shared, and this is one of them. This is a shame. I actually watched the press conference from the county because I wanted to hear what the sheriff and the police had to say more so than commenters on YouTube. But we're going to end up showing this thing from Good Morning America just to give you the 2-minute like synopsis of what is happening. And I am here to say this is UMBW's being sloppy. This is UMBW's being sloppy. It's my understanding that this woman has 4 degrees. Her husband is a doctor or something like that. You all can let me know what the story is with regards to this couple. But just because somebody looks rich does not mean that they are rich. There are a lot of people who look rich who are doing infinitely worse than you and I. Okay? And the flashier the person is, the broker I believe they are. I've been around wealthy people. I've been around rich people. The people who have money, because my mother used to be a bookkeeper, so I used to see bank statements. And of course, in my current business, I see bank statements. The people who are the flashiest usually have the worst money problems. In the Black community, one of the things that happens oftentimes is that we believe that flash equals wealth. We believe that flash equals money. And we're discovering more and more that is not the case. We believe that's because somebody says they have 4 degrees, they're married to a doctor. I don't know if he's a medical doctor or what he is. But we believe that we're believing people's hype. We're believing people's hype. To the point where allegedly they were so desperate for money. They had such bad money problems in the hundreds of thousands that they created an elaborate scheme. And also understand this, posting on social media is what the sheriff or the lawmakers said they caught this couple because of stuff they posted on social media. So as I'm always talking with you about social media as UMBWs, I'm always telling you to be careful what you're posting. Your bosses are watching you. Your boss's boss are watching you. Your HR company is watching you. I will tell you, on Friday, I got an email from our compliance department at the company that I belong to. I didn't know they were snooping. They were snooping on my social media. They didn't snoop on this one. They haven't found this one yet. At least I don't think. If they are, hey, how you doing? Right? But my social media, they did a social media audit of my accounts. And they were like, you need to change this, you need to change this. Now, it came from a compliance point of view, but I'm not crazy enough to think that they're not actually watching what I'm doing, watching what I'm posting. And pretty soon we're going to have AI bots that are not only going to be able to read the transcripts, hear what's happening, but also see the images of things that we have as well on our social media and be able to call us out. So baby girl T is saying her husband is a lawyer and she's a professor at Johns Hopkins, political communicator for CNN. She's too public to be doing all of this. They were in millions of debt, not just hundreds of thousands. Oh, they had millions of dollars of debt. And she was trying to get $400,000 allegedly from the insurance company. Okay, all right. Alonzo saying your clients are watching you. I had a client contact me yesterday over an accountant I introduced him to. Yeah. People are watching you. That's why whatever you say, whatever you even like on social media, people are going to be paying attention. That is why I try to read things thoroughly before I like them on social media, before I comment on social media. I don't comment on anything political. The only time I talk about politics is here. Other than that, on my main channels, you'll never catch me talking anything about politics. I don't discuss politics in the workplace. I just don't do it. Religion is a little bit different for me. I am Christian. I let people know I'm Christian. I don't have a problem with that. Right. But yeah, like people are watching you. Demir is saying some coworkers who eat out the most have the least in savings. This is true. This is true. Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's watch what happened, just in case you have been living under a rock and you don't know who these people are. I'm going to keep, or don't know what's happening. I'm going to keep this small on the screen just so we don't have an issue with Good Morning America. But let's see what they're saying here.
I'm also a political commentator.
Wendy Osefo is a familiar face on Bravo, a cast member on The Real Housewives of Potomac.
I quit grading, but I'm still passing judgments.
But now, Osefo and her husband Edward arrested, facing over a dozen counts of insurance fraud. It all started, court documents say, when the couple reported a burglary at their house in 2024. Claiming thieves had stolen more than $450,000 worth of jewelry, clothing, shoes, and other luxury goods, then submitting claims to insurance. But officials now say many of those items weren't actually stolen at all.
So I don't care if she's a real housewife, fake housewife, or whatever she is, we would have handled it the same way regardless of who she was.
One key item, Wendy's engagement band, according.
Let's go back to what the sheriff had to say. Let's go back to what the sheriff had to say. He said he doesn't care if she's real housewife, fake housewife. He would have handled things exactly the same. I don't know about that. I think that if they live in Potomac, that is a wealthy part of the Metro DC area. So they're going to pay attention to these things no matter what. However, because they were in the public eye, yes, the sheriff and the law enforcement did have an incentive to solve this crime much more than somebody who's not actively on TV, someone who's not actively on CNN, somebody who is whose husband is not an attorney. Okay? So yeah, they had incentives to make sure that, like, hey, if people are going on vacation and somebody is burglarizing a house and could potentially burglarize additional houses, we want to know about it. Absolutely. The other thing is, I'm going to actually come back here because let's see here. I wanted to see her. She's got her family here. Let's see here. This is her family, right? It looks like she has what, 3 kids? Is this her family? 3 kids? Somebody tell me. Insurance fraud is no joke. Wire fraud is no joke. We think these are victimless crimes. They're not. And depending on the jury that they get and the evidence that's laid out, is it worth being separated from your children? Is it worth being separated from your children? This is bad all around. And maybe it'll be like Teresa Giudice and her husband, where they let her go in first and she came home and then Joe went in. But we don't know. They may say, no, you both go in at the same time. And then the kids have to go to where? So this is Not good. Let's finish watching this, and then we're going to, um, to continue our conversation talking about this.
One key item, Wendy's engagement band. According to court documents, Edward reported it stolen and recovered more than $4,000 from an insurance company. Then, the pair accused of submitting that same ring to a different insurer. Officials say it was social media that raised even more red flags. Osefo allegedly seen wearing that same ring in an Instagram post made after the alleged break-in.
Their investigators start to scour social media and look at specific items that Mrs. Osefo regularly wore, and it wouldn't have been difficult to see some of those items on her after this incident took place.
So let's be real. The fans were also vested in figuring out what happened, right? Fans are messy. Fans are absolutely messy. My understanding is Wendy, I don't know if she's a villain or she got into beef or has beef with somebody on RHOP or whatever it is, right? But you will have a subsection of these fans as well who are messy. The investigators didn't have to scour. I'm sorry. The investigators probably didn't have to scour the internet and social media too much. Somebody, all they had to do was watch the comment section of her post. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be laughing like this. This is not good. This is not good, ladies. Greed, greed, greed is like what you're saying. Yes. She doesn't actually live in Potomac. She lives in Cobb County, which I heard is extremely conservative MAGA. Yeah, even if they aren't MAGA, they're just like, hey, we want to make sure that our people are protected, right? So, Alonzo's saying likely they didn't have a separate items policy on those items either. People don't quite understand property insurance. I'll admit I'm not a property insurance person. I just see this as sometimes there's something called lifestyle creep, right? And sometimes things get so out of control. They get so far ahead of us and where we are and where we should be and where our money is. And, our money fluctuating up and down. That's a part of life unless you have a nice, secure job, which, is rarer these days than it used to be. So, um, and being on the front stage, being on, a celebrity housewife, I think you end up in the negative with regards to money when you are on these shows. The only person that I think actually came out positive with these shows, probably there are a couple of people, but Bethany Frankel. Bethany Frankel is the only person that I think actually turned her housewife stint into positive, right? Maybe Candy Burris as well. But Candy Burris already had stuff going on. So, let's see what else they're saying here.
In one email, according to court documents, Edward seemingly asking Wendy to pad their insurance claims, asking if they had, quote, additional high-value items we can add to this inventory listing, adding, I'm trying to get the total to exceed $423,000, which is our policy max.
Let me ask a question. Let me ask a question of you ladies. Did he email that? Did he put that in writing? When you are, should we teach criminal 101? Allegedly, criminal 101. You never put stuff in writing. You never ever put stuff in writing. Baby girl T is saying he did. You never put stuff in writing. Are they married? Are they living together married? Don't they see each other at night? Like when you're in bed and you're having the conversations, you have the conversations, then you don't put stuff in writing. Oh my goodness. These are UMBW. This is a UMBW who wasn't thinking, a husband who wasn't thinking. Like, you don't put the stuff in writing. Say it, forget it, write it, regret it. That's right. I haven't heard that saying before, Alonzo, but that's the truth. If we're gonna do, look, if we're gonna do criminal, we need to do criminal 101, criminal 201, criminal 301. Like, I mean, we're talking about the basics here. Let's keep watching.
Maximum.
And court documents saying Wendy and her husband had substantial debt. The couple has not yet entered a plea, but both were released on a $50,000 bond while this case proceeds. Now, their representative for both of them saying in a statement the Osefos, alongside their legal team, look forward to their day in court.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, wow is right. Ladies, don't put it in writing. Alonzo, gentlemen, anybody watching from the clouds, don't put it in writing. Don't put it in writing on social media. Don't put it on writing in email. Don't put it in writing on your phone as a note. Don't put it in writing on WhatsApp. Just don't do it. Don't put it in writing. All right? The other thing is, you, and I said this before, you will do a lot better if you judge your wealthy people by what they are not wearing versus what they're wearing. Let's say it like that. If I'm looking at somebody who's super flashy and they want to give me a job or give me a business opportunity, when I used to do business plan writing, the person who was the flashiest never had the money. The person who wore just regular stuff, they always have money. They're like, oh, okay, where do I send the retainer? So Dark and Lovely is in the building. This is a prime example of marrying the wrong man and the impact. So I have to admit, Dark and Lovely, I don't know these people. I don't watch Real Housewives of Potomac. You probably know a lot more than I do. I have said the father of your children is the most important financial decision you will ever make. So if he truly is the wrong man and they have 3 kids together, then I'm undefeated with that saying, because this is going to cost them a lot of money in legal fees. If they are found guilty and they are imprisoned, it's going to cost them money. It's going to cost them revenue, the stress, things like that. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. So for us, it is important for us as UMBWs to not have lifestyle creep. That's one of the big things that I think we can learn from this whole Wendy Osefo thing. Is be aware, be careful of lifestyle creep. If you're buying something that's like a one-time thing, let's say you're going to dinner and you're going to spend $500 on dinner. That's one thing, right? Because it's a one-time payment, right? But if you're signing up for something, let's say leasing a car, and you're going to spend $900 a month for the next 5 years or 3 years leasing that car, and that's lifestyle creep for you. There are decisions that we're making that cause us to get in the hole millions of dollars, like the Osefos allegedly were, or hundreds of thousands of dollars for us. Buying a house that's maybe too much house for you, where you're house poor. And then you're like, oh, shoot, not just the usual first year, like, okay, I'm squeezing my coins a little tighter in order just to get through a little bit of the humps and get my house the way that I want it. No, I'm talking about you bit off more than you could chew. We don't want to do those things. And I think that's one of the big things, because when you get desperate, you make dumb decisions. When I get desperate, I make dumb decisions. And a lot of dumb decisions we make are from bad personal choices that we have made, personal financial choices, sorry, that we have made all along. So, um, everyone who watches the show says the opposite. Oh, that she chose the wrong man. Oh, like I said, I don't know. Because his parents don't like her and have been saying that she's shady. Yeah, like I said, I don't know. Adrian is saying, when I watched this years ago, I always wondered why she was on the show. It seemed like a step down for her career, and here we are. Yeah, here we are. Here we are. All right, I've got a couple of other things to show you really quickly. So, one of the other things that I want to talk about today is the fact that Americans are using PTO to sleep and not to vacation. Americans are using PTO to sleep and not to vacation. One of the things when it comes to sleeping is that the more rested we are, the better we perform at our jobs, at life, at being healthy, physically fit, things like that. The more tired we are, the and tired, sleep deprivation, and dehydration. Sleep deprivation, dehydration are two of the worst things that we can be as UMBWs. Sleep deprived and lack of water. Okay. The third thing is, and this is something I'm guilty of, is just not eating a good diet. If you're the type of person, you're very disciplined with your eating even more than your exercise. If you tend to eat healthy foods 85% of the time, you are going to get a lot farther, a lot faster than somebody who doesn't, right? So this thing came out, and I'm going to do this here. The rise of something called bed rotting, how and why Americans are doing it. So it turns out, I'm just going to read the key takeaways here. The average American spends 364 hours a year doing something called bed rotting. Bed rotting means that you're awake, but you're just sitting in bed doing absolutely nothing, right? This is equivalent to 15 full days of the average American, average, just sitting there doing like completely, absolutely nothing, right? Gen Z leads the bed rotting trend with 89% participating and spending 498 hours or 21 days, 3 weeks a year doing so. 57% of Americans have taken PTO or a sick day to bed rot. Now, I will say I have done it. I have done it. Not necessarily to bed rot, but just to get extra sleep. Absolutely. I have taken PTO days. I have taken sick days. I am not here to judge anybody who has done that. I'm with you here. All right, next thing is YouTube. 65% is the top app for bed rotting, with Gen Z spending 3.2 hours per day on it while bed rotting. So you basically go to work, you come home, and you just sit there and listen to YouTube, whether it's political junk, gaming, stuff like that. Not good for us. Work productivity is higher among those who do not bed rot compared to those who do. 74% versus 61%. And only 40% of bed rotters feel good about their energy levels, compared with 66% of those who do not bed rot. So again, this is something for us, just like a really practical thing that I'd love to come and talk to you ladies about with regard to, again, sleep deprivation is costing you your monkey branching opportunities. Being dehydrated, costing you your monkey branching opportunities. Eating a poor diet, costing you your monkey branching opportunities. Just sitting there mindlessly scrolling TikTok or YouTube, costing you your monkey branching opportunities. So that is it. And with that, I honestly think that I am going to leave it there. I had another story, but it's not that important for today. So that is it. That's Money Monday, ladies. Hopefully I said a couple of things today that has helped you with regards to your process of monkey branching. Again, don't forget on Sunday, October 26th, we're going to have our Zoom meeting. That is Sunday, October 26th, our internal Zoom meeting. The topic is TBD. I'm still trying to figure out what exactly we're going to talk about. I have a couple of ideas, but I need to narrow it down to stuff that, we want to talk about and conversations we won't have on YouTube. So that is it for me. Thank you so much for being here, ladies. And I hope that you have a wonderful week. Take care. Bye-bye.